Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today. My name is Sevak Bishoyan. I'm with City of Blundell's Economic Development Division. I'm very happy to have you all here with us as we dive deep into the crucial parts of creating a sustainable and thriving business. This event is designed to really prepare you with the tools, insights, and strategies necessary to build a strong foundation and for long-term success. I'm honored to introduce our esteemed guest speakers today from Chase Business Banking, Sam Marshall and Lucy Sasenya. Both Sam and Lucy bring a wealth of knowledge and experience in helping businesses navigate the financial landscape. Their expertise in financial strategies and consulting will be invaluable as we discuss the building blocks of a lasting foundation. Before we begin, though, I'd like to take a quick moment to talk a bit about what we do here at Economic Development Division. Our mission really revolves around business retention and expansion services. So services such as site selection, assistance with permitting process, staffing solutions, marketing for both new and current businesses in Glendale, and a free HR hotline that we launched dedicated for all employers to take an advantage of. Our goal really is to create this environment where businesses can grow, and we're committed to providing those resources and support needed to make that happen. I would highly encourage everyone to visit our website at chooseglendaleca.com or contact our office, and we will be more than happy to assist you with any of the services mentioned earlier. With that being said, I will now pass it to Sam Marshall to get the fun part of the webinar started. And please note that this session is being recorded.
Thank you, Seva. I really appreciate the introduction. My name is Sam Marshall. I am a senior business consultant with JP Morgan Chase. I've had 20 years of business experience, the last 10 years managing business clients in the LA and San Gabriel Valley area. We're going to talk a little bit, before I introduce our keynote speaker, obviously for today, I'll talk a little bit about her and her background. You know, my support has always been on the outside. I've always been an employee supporting businesses, and I'm very proud of that. But for the sake of this topic that we're going to discuss today, a very important one that has to do with entrepreneurship, we thought it was best that we bring in our most experienced consultant. Lucy Sasenya has over 14 years of being an entrepreneur herself. That is something that we want to share with all of our communities. The Chase Coaching for Impact team does not sell a service or a product. What we do is provide one-on-one executive coaching for our community, our business community, at no cost. Part of what we do is events just like this, where we try to educate our community on what they need to do to move forward and to make their businesses more successful through the lens of JP Morgan Chase, of course. That's why we're so excited to have Lucy here visiting with us today. We're going to talk about some of the things that you can do for your business. And with that, I'd like to introduce my partner, Lucy. Please get us started.
Thank you, Sam. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us and spending your afternoon with Chase and the City of Glendale Economics Division. I'm so excited to be doing this with you guys. And like Sam said, yes, I have experience as an entrepreneur. I am now a business consultant for Chase. And what we're about to get into is really the foundation of what it is like to be an entrepreneur and how to run a business. So Sam, let's get into it. He's going to be my helper and go through the slides for me as we move along. And as Sam also mentioned, we work for Chase in the Coaching for Impact program. So we do work with entrepreneurs by mentoring and coaching and helping them along their process of running the business and getting them all of the tools needed to help be successful. Next slide, Sam. All right, so here's a quote from Damon Dashes, and some of you may know who he is, some may not, but this is a quote from his book called Power Shift. Once I found my why, I was good to go. Each time out, the moment I understood what I was doing and why I was doing it was the moment I was finally able to make something happen. Now, this is so important as an entrepreneur because when we start a business, it's because we have either a passion, we have a trait, We have something that we know how to do and we want to make money doing it. But if your only goal is to make money, you're going to burn out. But if you know your why on why you're starting a business, then you tend to go longer. And when things come at you that become hard, or those months come when you're not making any sales or business isn't happening, that why that you are holding on to is what's going to keep you going. So one of the things that we like to say is, what is your why? I'm sure you guys heard it many times. And if you're here today on this class, in this session, that tells me that you guys are trying to be something better and you're trying to build something. So understand, what is your why and why are you starting your business? Why are you running your business? Because that is what's going to help you keep going on the hard times. Next slide, Sam. All right. So, there's quite a bit of you in here. So what I'm going to say and suggest is, if you guys have your why, or if you know what it is, share it with us in the chat so we can all take a look at it. Because once you speak it and say it, it makes it real. That's why people are always saying, write down your goals. So if you know your why, share it with us in the chat, and then we can get into it a little later. Next slide. All right, so what we're going to cover today is part 1. There's 5 parts to this, but part 1 is think like an entrepreneur. Part 2 is establish a foundation for business growth. Part 3 is develop agility and resilience. Part 4, putting people first. And then 5, keep pushing. So let's get into it. All right, so part 1, think like an entrepreneur. Let's go. A great business needs a great leader. With the right mindset, you can be that leader. Now, let's keep going, Sam, as I read it. I'm going to kind of talk about some things, but here's what we're going to get into. When you're starting a business, everything starts with the mind. With what you think, what you're putting into your mind is what is going to come out into your business. If you wake up and you're like, oh, this day sucks, it's not going good, that's how your day's going to go. So when you're starting a business, at first it is heavy and slow, but with every turn, it spins faster. And as the slide before said, the flywheel. So the flywheel brings momentum, and it's up to you as the leader to give your business that momentum. So I don't know if any of you guys know what it is, but a flywheel is one of those things that just go round and round. And when it's windy, sometimes the flywheel picks up speed. Well, that's the same thing like a business. When you guys are starting a business, it starts slow. Now, unless you hit it and you're like a TikTok sensation, or you have a product that has went viral, other than that kind of scenario, when starting a business, it is a slow start and it starts going slow. But once it starts moving, then momentum picks up and it starts going faster. And that's when your flywheel starts moving. Next slide, Sam. So at first, again, it's heavy and slow, but then it adds speed and it keeps going. And no single action results in success. So remember that it's all the little things, all those pushes, all those networking events, all those phone calls, emails, those add up, making each success more bigger and possible. Now, here's a cool story that I like to share. It's called, and here's the quote that goes to it: "The fox knows many things, but the hedgehog knows one big thing." Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of kind of a picture to paint behind this saying, which is an ancient proverb, as you can see. But what it means is, you have a fox. Foxes are fast, they're constantly on the run, and they're going. And then you have a hedgehog that is moving super slow. Now, in a business, as a business owner, you may think, and believe me, I know, as Sam said from experience, you'll wake up some days and be like, I don't feel like I'm doing anything. I don't feel like I'm going anywhere. I'm doing all these things and nothing is happening. So you feel like you're just not doing the right things in business. But what happens is, as it says here, the fox, you don't want to be moving fast, doing, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do that. Because as you're making steps and as you're moving towards your dreams and your goals and these things that you're building, things start to happen. So although it looks like you're not doing much, when you do get to the other side, you'll realize that you have done something big, and that all these little things, as slow as it might seem, and as long as it seems like it might be taking, they do add up for success that can actually last. So don't be like the fox, being busy all the time. Work your way into this business. Now, here's the question for you, and I would like you to answer that in the chat as well. Do you believe you can grow as a person? So a fixed mindset holds people back. A growth mindset makes it more possible. I love this quote because at my age, people say, well, it's who I am. I'm just who I am. But I don't believe that. I believe as any tool, as any muscle, as anything, if you go and you work a muscle out or you work your mind, you do get to grow as a person. We learn things in school all the time. You can take courses that are completely free and grow as a person. But if you're going with a fixed mindset saying, well, it's just who I am, I'm not going to be that person. I don't grow. I'm not this. That is what your mindset will keep you at. So remember that my belief in this is that I don't care how old you are. If you want to grow as a person and you put the work into doing that, you definitely can. So yes, we are always learning and we are always in learning mode. Okay, a growth mindset works. So this was a study that they did at a college. Undergraduate students who participated in a 30-minute growth mindset session were able to better protect themselves against natural stressors that they encountered in their daily lives. This protection endured for at least 3 weeks after the session. So what they did is here's a scenario. Somebody does something to you. You automatically react. You get upset. Oh, my whole day is ruined. Well, for the rest of the day and for the rest of the week, your day is going to be ruined. Your day, the way you handle things, the way you talk to people, that is always going to cause a stressor and things to come negatively because what you put out is what you will get in. That's the same thing in business. If you feel like you're having a bad day in the business or things aren't happening and your mindset is like, oh, this sucks. I'm just going to stop doing it. I'm not going to work anymore. Or I need to just go get a job. Those things are going to happen. But if you can change the way you're thinking about things when they come in. So for instance, if something happens where a deal doesn't go through, or maybe you thought you were going to make the sales and that doesn't happen, instead of reacting, take a moment. Take a moment to be able to think about, okay, how could this have been different? Let me breathe it out. Let me respond to this instead of react to it. And you'll see that as time goes by and as things start happening, the way that you react to stresses that come into your business is going to change because it'll become natural for you, where you're not going to just be reacting all the time and upset and letting it cause the negative. You're going to change that into a positive way of thinking. And that truly is a fact as they did this in a study. So if you're stressed, take a moment, think about it. Even if you have to write some things out, how could I've done this different? Okay, this didn't work out for me. What was the reason for that? And a lot of times we're not going to know the reason, but just remember, nothing ever happens by mistake. Things don't happen to you, they happen for you. So if something doesn't work out, it just wasn't meant for you at that moment. It doesn't mean it's not meant for you always, but you have to be able to change the way you think about things and the way that you react to situations that come into your business and in your life. And you'll see that things will start moving in a different direction. So you guys can practice that a little bit as things start coming up. Even today, if something happens bad, take a moment and respond and see how you change with that reaction. Okay, Sam? All right, now, this is one thing that I love. Personal growth can lead to business growth. As I just talked about, embrace the challenges, persist in the face of setbacks, view effort as a path to mastery, learn from criticism, and look for lessons and inspiration in others. As I said before, not everything is happening to you, it is happening for you. You just have to change the way you're thinking about it and accept the things that are taking place and change the way that you're looking at them. And I love this one from criticism. Not everybody's going to agree with you. Not everybody's going to like your business. Not everybody's going to like the way you do business. But if you can take some of those as constructive criticism, it can help grow your business and make small changes to make you more successful. So take that, learn from that. I think that's a good piece of advice, even if this is what you get from today. Next, Sam. All right, it all adds up to grit. You've got the grit already. Now it's time to channel it to your business. Now, what does that mean? You've got the grit already. If you're starting a business, if you're thinking about doing a business, you already have it in you. So now it's just a matter of figuring out how to make that grit work for you and your business. Next, Sam. All right, so here's a little poll that I would like for you guys to answer in the chat. So based on what we were talking about, the why, the flywheel, which is the making the momentum going faster, the hedgehog principle, a growth mindset, or grit. Which of these resonated with you guys the most? So if you guys can put it in the chat, I would love to know where you guys kind of stand and what you feel like you're working, or what your obstacle or what your thing is that you guys want to get through. So I see Richard is the flywheel. Thank you. Let's see who else. A setback is a setup for a comeback. You're right, Richard. I love that. All right, go ahead, Sam. All right, so we are also going to, in the follow-up that Sev is going to send out to you guys, we're going to give you guys workbooks for this session. And what I'm going to be doing is giving you guys homework. And again, I say homework, but it's really not, right? They're just tools. There's some practices that you guys can do within your own book, and you guys can do at home or on your own time. But knowing your purpose, why does your business do what it does? We talked about having a why, but this is a part of that, your purpose on why you're doing this. Do you know what that is for your business? When you guys get these workbooks, you can write in there, you can jot some things down, and we'll talk about some more activities throughout this workshop. Go ahead, Sam. So define your mission. How does your business do what it does? This is really important when you guys are doing a business plan, when you're trying to get people to buy into what you're doing, whether that's selling, whether it's a service, whether it's a product-based business, whatever it is. You need to know what your mission is, as well as what your why is. You can have passion, your why, but you need to have a mission on what you're working towards. So what does your business do? How does your business do what it does? That would be your mission. And in the book, you guys have an area as well where you can play around and write some ideas down. Next, Sam. So again, here's a piece of what the book looks like. Sam went a little fast. If we can go back for a sec, Sam. So write down a few words or phrases that describe the mission of your business. And it gives you a little tool of how to do that, some examples, and then you guys can play with it, write it down, because if you don't have that now, these are the foundations and the fundamentals that you're going to need in order to have a successful business, especially if you guys are going to be looking for funding later, or again, having people buy into what you're doing. So this is a great exercise for you guys to try. Okay, Sam, go ahead. All right, now capture your vision. What big change do you want your business to spark? Do you guys have a vision for your business? I know when I started my business 14 years ago, I was a business consultant. I started a firm that helped businesses set up their corporations. Now, my vision for that was to be, and my vision was way bigger than just doing the business. I'm a Hispanic, first generation Mexican. My parents came here. My dad worked in the fields till he was about 7. I never got to see what it looked like for a business person in my family to be successful. My parents always taught me, go to work 9 to 5. So when I started my business, a lot of the stuff that I'm going with you guys is what I encountered and what I put into my own life. The books that I read, the things that I was watching, the things that I was hearing. I knew my vision wanted to be to inspire other people, especially like myself, who came first generation, never had the mentors, never had anybody above to look at and lead by example. I wanted to be that for people. That was my vision in my business. That was my why. That is my passion. So when I started the business, I knew what all of that was. So although, yes, I'm doing a service and I have clients, for me, it was a bigger purpose. So that's something you guys really need to think about when doing your business. And this, again, is what is going to be that firm foundation that you're building your business upon. Sam, next. And again, here's another exercise that you guys can put in the book to write down a couple of things that best describes the vision for your business. Because when you put it on paper and when you actually see it, you can work towards it. You know, every year at the end of the year, we say, what are your goals? What are your goals? What's your New Year's resolutions, right? Well, I don't do resolutions. I do goals. And I don't just say them. You have to write them down. You have to see them, because throughout the year, month after month, I can go back and look at them and say, this is what I'm doing it for. And again, as we talked about in the business, there's going to be times where things come up. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to feel like nothing is happening. You're going to want to go back to these words that you wrote down, your why, your mission, your vision, to be able to remind you and keep going forward, even in those times. Go ahead, Sam. All right, tips for writing purpose, mission, and vision statements. Get it on paper. That's number one. Write it down, write it down, write it down. Focus on big ideas. You guys don't think small. Reach for the stars. The bigger you guys have as far as dreams and goals, at least if you don't make it all the way there, you'll come in a little less than if you were to start small. I'm not saying anybody won't, but focus on big ideas, guys. Dream big. Evoke emotion. Imagine the future. Be concise. And then get input. You guys have friends, you have family, you have resources like the City of Glendale, even for doing this, like they're working with business owners on a daily basis. So go to these resources, get the coaching, get the advice, get the input, and be concise. You have to really see what you want to do. You know, I know you guys probably heard the saying, if you see it, believe it, you can achieve it. It goes the same thing with this. Go ahead, Sam. All right, now, yes, we have a vision, we have the passion, we're doing something because we love, but what about profit? We've talked about a lot about the big ideas, but where does the profit fit in? Your vision, although it might be great, it is not possible without the profit. And profitability fuels the growth within your business. Profit can help you focus on what matters. We'll get into a little bit more. Go ahead, Sam. All right, so here's something that is a great exercise. This is going to be in your workbook. If you guys already have an existing business, this is what's called a SWOT analysis. You'll see the 4 corners right there. You have strength, weaknesses, areas of opportunity, and threats. So for existing businesses or even businesses that you guys are having ideas that you want to start, I would go in and break it down into 4 quarters, right? So what are the strengths in this business? What is going to set you apart from the other person that's doing it? You have so many, I'll use an example of lash techs, right? All these girls are getting their license to be lash techs. Well, what makes you different? Are you a mobile lash tech? Do you get to go to them? Or are you offering different types of products? Do you offer a free touch-up? Like, what makes you different? What is your weaknesses? Maybe you are not mobile. Maybe you don't even have a space. Maybe you're hoping that somebody doesn't mind if you go to their house, or if you come to their, if they come to your bedroom in the back of the house, like just things like that. What are the weaknesses in the business? What are areas of opportunity? Maybe you're a lash tech, but now you want to do eyebrows. There's an opportunity, all within the same field, the face, you know, aesthetics, all of that. Maybe you can grow a different type of service in that industry. And then what are threats? So there's a lot of lash techs out there. That would be a threat. But in your specific business, what are the threats that would cause you to either lose business, not grow, not expand? So this is just a great exercise for you guys to look at and think about what you're currently doing and see what your specific business, how it falls in these areas. Strengths, weaknesses, areas of opportunities, and threats. So that's a fun exercise you guys can do on your own as well. All right, now let's talk about establishing a foundation for business growth. Go ahead, Sam. Now, business structure is super important. This is one of my favorite. As I said, I had a consulting firm where I actually set up corporations, LLCs, DBAs, S Corps, C Corps. Now, what are the benefits of it, of having an actual legal entity? The liability, the flexibility, the control, and the funding. So let's get into it. All right, so we have sole proprietorships. Sole proprietorships are also known as DBAs, doing business as. So when I started my business 14 years ago, I didn't quite know how to run a business. I didn't quite know what I was doing, but I knew that Lucy Cesena wanted to do business. So Lucy Cesena started doing business as, and then I started my company, You Do a Name. This is a single owner. It's very simple, low cost to set up. You do still have complete control. However, the liability still falls on you personally. And yes, you must pay payroll taxes, but they can be deducted as an expense, meaning they're still personal. When you guys are doing business as a sole proprietor, any money the company makes, it's still considered personal income. However, you do get those deductions when you do your taxes as business expenses. Still getting the rate as personal taxes, still personal liability, but you do get some incentives. And then you have, next slide, Sam. You have partnerships. These are also the same thing. It's 2 people going into business together. So it's multiple owners, simple, low cost setup. You guys have the shared control 50-50. And then your partners, you and your partner are personally liable for your portion of the business. You guys pay your taxes. It's considered personal income. So it works the same way as a sole proprietor, only there's two of you and you guys are now a general partner. And then we have, next slide, C corporations. Now, C corporation can have multiple shareholders. They can set up and be complex and will require the help of professionals for sure. And then you have a board of directors that controls the company, and owners are not personally liable for anything as far as if somebody was to sue the company. They're not really suing you personally. They are now suing the corporation. And then this type of structure is a potential for double taxation. So when you think of C Corp, think of companies like Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Facebook. There's no limit to how many shareholders you have. So this type of company can end up one day going public because you can have 1 million shareholders, if you like, where everybody owns a piece of it. And then you have all of these board members that you would get on the company that makes the decisions. A good example of that, think of Apple, Steve Jobs. Although it was his idea and he created this company, his board members had the opportunity to come together to vote against him and actually vote him out. So although he thought of it and owned it, really the board members controlled it. Next one we have is, Sam, next slide, is the S corporation. Now, S corps can have multiple shareholders, but you are limited to 100 shareholders. So if you're an S corp, you cannot have more than 100 shareholders. They again can be complex when setting up, and they do require the help of a professional because there's things that you need to include when setting up your corporation. The S corp is also controlled by a board of directors, and then owners again are not personally liable. So if somebody was to sue the company, again, they're suing the company, they're not suing you personally. So your home, your vehicle, all of your personal assets wouldn't be affected, only whatever the corporation owns. And then no corporate taxes. So profits pass through as distributions, meaning when you have an S corp, you do have to set up payroll, but you avoid a second tax. And then you have limited liability companies. LLC owners can fully participate in the business. Owners are again protected from liability. There's no limits on shareholders because shareholders don't exist in an LLC. And then the earnings are passed on to owners. So limited liability companies are really good for those. I'm going to give you just some examples. Contractors, nail techs, somebody who's not really having a brick and mortar, that doesn't have a bunch of employees, that is doing work here and there. There's no corporate compliance that comes with the limited liabilities each year, but you get all of the benefits of having the business, having the protection from your personal assets, liabilities, and even getting the tax rate a lot lower because it is a corporation. So there's different types of businesses that you can set up. And then B corporations, any business structure can certify as a B Corp. Certification is a public commitment to do good for people, communities, and the environment. This you're not going to see in a lot of businesses. This is more for instance, maybe the city of Glendale has something like this, or nonprofits, but you don't see a lot of B Corps, but they are something that you can do. Now, in page 17 of the workbook that you're going to get, it's going to give you a list of all the things that the businesses offer, and then you'll be able to go and take a look at your own business and see kind of where you fit and what type of structure you think would be best for your specific business. So that's a really great tool resource that's in the workbook for you. And then streamlining operations. When your operations run steady, it's easier to push the flywheel. Let's go to the next slide, Sam, and get into this one. All right, organization can make a difference. You have to find the right space, establish a customer support system, develop a file storage and sharing system, manage the books, schedule effectively, and plan for taxes. So I want to talk about this just for a little bit. When you run a business, it's great to have an idea. And, you know, I say this all the time, a mechanic starts a business and opens up a garage because he knows how to fix cars. That's his specialty, that's his trait. But he may not know how to run the business side of the business. But that is the most important part of the business. Because if your operations is not set up properly, if you're not filing the necessary paperwork or managing the books or doing your bookkeeping and filing those taxes every year, one, the IRS can suspend your company. The Secretary of State can suspend your company. You can be exposed when people do decide, hey, he did me wrong, I'm going to sue the business. If you don't have all of these things in order, you are more likely to be affected by somebody suing you because you just don't have the things in place. So it is really important to organize the business and establish the operations of the business as you are building it out. And then next slide, Sam. So find your roadmap. Map processes and workflows. Start by taking inventory of every aspect of your business and the steps to complete each activity. We'll keep going, Sam. Analyze your processes. Where do you slow down and what are mistakes often made? Again, if you're starting a business or running a business, you're probably just going because you know the trait that you're doing or you have a product. But have you stopped to say, okay, wait, what does this look like? What are my sales? Where do I compare with other people? Am I making mistakes? How are you invoicing? Are you using one POS system versus another and not even taking the time to see what the fees are here or how much you're paying out? All of these things matter. So you do have to analyze the process and your business. Next, Sam. Use data to make change. Once you've quantified what's falling short, you can set goals and track whether you're meeting those goals. So again, when you're analyzing the business and you take the time to write things down and see what is working, what may not be working, you're able to physically see, okay, I can make changes here. I can grow here. I can maybe charge different here or cut back here. And then you're going to be able to start meeting the goals that you're setting for the business. Next slide. And then here, another activity. It's just, again, in operations, a chart that you can write some information down on your specific business. Go ahead, Sam. All right, so part 3, develop agility and resilience. Let's go. All right, we've all seen how important it is to build a business that can adapt quickly. In your specific business, if you guys can do in the chat, let's play along here. What is your top priority right now for making your business more agile and resilient? Is it build a bigger cash buffer, secure new capital, maybe improve your cybersecurity? Maybe for you, it's finding new customers. Or is it investing in tools and equipment to meet future needs? Or is it to strengthen business relationships? What right now in your business is your top priority? So as they're writing that, you can go ahead and go to the next. Richard, thank you for participating. Building a bigger cash buffer, that's really important. And as we talk about this, so 75% of business owners anticipate a need for financing to fund continued growth, expecting those funds to be put towards purchasing inventory, working capital, and hiring. I'm going to use an example of a client that I've worked with in the past. Very successful business. She made great money and she was selling products. She was actually over $1 million in products selling. However, she was shorting herself because she could have hit well over $3 million if she had the capital to be able to purchase more inventory because they were selling off the chart. And yes, she had the cash coming in, but you don't always want to use your cash in the company to fund the business, because if something happens or there's an emergency, you need to be able to have a line underneath, whether that's a business line of credit, a credit card, something that the business can use to purchase inventory where it can have the money working for you on that end while you're bringing the money in and investing or doing other things within the business. This is also really big in construction companies, right? Construction companies can be very successful, but when you go get a job with the city and you're bidding on it, the city wants to know that you have that money that you can pay before they pay you. So having a line of credit, having funding, some of these things in businesses are the most important thing that you can do, because everybody is looking for cash. And who said that? Was that Richard? Show me the money. You're absolutely right. Show me the money. So let's keep going, Sam. Now, here's another thing that's really important. A lot of people don't always talk about is investing in technology. The right tools can mean everything. Let's keep going. So here's another exercise in your workbook. You can take an inventory of what your specific business has as far as technology tools or businesses. And what that means is computers, Are you guys working with a CRM system? Do you guys have a POS system? What type of technology are you working with? And how safe is it? How efficient is it? You need to do an inventory and an audit of what you guys have in your business to see where you stand and if there's room for improvement. Next slide. Let's go back one more, Sam. Okay, so protect your business from cyber threats. Large companies aren't the only ones vulnerable. Hackers are interested in stealing from an easy target they can find. I don't know about you guys, but I get a lot of alerts sometimes saying that my information was compromised, change your password, there was a breach data, and those come from big corporations. People are always attacking them, but just like this says, it's not always the big corporations that are being attacked. As a small business owner, you guys are just as vulnerable. So it is really important that you do understand what systems you have in place. If you're working with customers that are giving you their socials or personal information, what type of cyber securities do you guys have in place to make sure that those things don't happen? So some cybersecurity essentials: educate and train. Find out what you're working with. Ask your vendor, how is this secured? How am I being protected from anybody trying to come and hack my system? Assess your vulnerabilities. Pay special attention to emails. There's a lot of phishing emails that go out there. There's a lot of emails that look so real. Check who those emails are coming from. If it's from a Gmail or a, info, whatever, you can tell when an email is suspicious. So just pay special attention to those. Review payment procedures. Require strong passwords, and plan for worst case scenarios. This even goes for your employees. If you guys have employees that are using systems or that are setting up passwords or dealing with sensitive content, make sure that you guys are taking account of how that is being ran in your specific business. Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you guys rate your cybersecurity at your business right now? Is this something you guys have ever even thought about? It's like, I've never even made the connection of cybersecurity into my specific business. But if you're doing sales, if you have a product, if you're actually making any money in your business, this is something you really should look into or at least give thought to. All right, Sam. Now, use digital banking. I know a lot of people sometimes are really scared of online banking, digital things, because yes, as we just mentioned, there's some, cybersecurities, but banks really do make sure that they're protected. So using apps and online portals anywhere you have an internet connection, pay bills quickly and efficiently with automated payments, monitor accounts with notifications, get data on customers and cash flow, integrate with accounting software, and then use a credit card to manage cash flow. Now, I want to speak on something specifically here. A lot of times business owners, some have an older school mindset when it comes to payroll, when it comes to accounts payable. Oh, I'll just write a check. I don't want, my information to be leaked on the internet. However, that has more security than if you were to put a check in the mail or give a check to an employee, because what you guys don't realize that is on those checks, it has your account number and your routing number, right? So when it's going out there and if it gets lost, that's more of a threat than paying somebody online, paying vendors online. So I know that it can be scary, but the way that banking and digital banking has come over the last couple of years has taken a complete turn in the way that it is secure, it is efficient, and it helps even with the cash flow. If you guys are sending checks out and you still have somebody's holding on to that check for weeks, you think you have that money in your account, but it's really not there. And then you go and spend it. And then the person finally decides to cash the check. Well, now you're negative when you could have put it on a credit card, paid it automatically. And then as more business comes in and you're making money, you pay your credit card off and it doesn't tie up your cash flow. So these are just some things to think about as you guys are moving along. And then take your business online. Where are your customers? What platform do you need? How will you take payments? How will you list product or services? Are you guys working with a website? Do you have accounts like Shopify where you can take payments? Do you even take payments? I get so surprised when I walk into a store and it's a cash only store. first off, you guys are missing out on money because not everybody is carrying cash these days. You don't have the access to be able to accept payments, or maybe you just have one when there's so many other ways. There's Zelle, Venmo, and these are all turning into business platforms. You guys should be able to take a look at your business and say, okay, how am I accepting payments? Is there a different type of way that I can accept payments? Because these people coming up now, millennials, Gen Zs, they're very tech savvy. And if you don't have the ability for them to make payments, sometimes that's lost customers. That's lost business. So just take an inventory of how you guys are doing it and being able to understand that it is now a way you guys can do business online safely. All right, part 4, putting people first. 82% of business leaders agree having engaged and committed employees is a critical factor for business survival in today's operating environment. So what does that mean? Assemble a team of doers. When you guys are hiring for your business, what should you look for? You look for work ethic, somebody who has a vision, somebody who wants to collaborate, diversity, people who make up for your weaknesses, and people who are hungry to succeed. I want to sit on this for a second. When you are hiring somebody, nowadays, people just want a job, right? And it's really up to us to make that decision on, are they the best fit for my team? Not everybody is built to be an entrepreneur. Not everybody wants the responsibilities that you and I want, right? Where it's like, I want to be able to build something and help my employees create a life. So, but when you hire people, you want them to be able to have a vision of that as well. You want somebody who is stronger. I know for me, I am not good at admin. I know that. I am a salesperson. Let's go out there and let's go, go, go. But when it comes to the analytical part of business, I know that is my weakness. So know your strengths, know your weaknesses. And when it comes to hiring people, look for people who make up what you lack. And that's something I'm going to say when it comes to this. And when you're hiring your team, also look for people who are hungry to succeed. I love the idea of having an entrepreneur working on my team as an entrepreneur. If you don't know what that means, look up the word entrepreneur, because those are the people you want to hire. Somebody who has the work ethic, the vision, who wants to help you succeed just as much as you want to. And then build an attractive workplace. Most people are looking for more than a paycheck. Offer a workplace that means something to people and shows that you value them as individuals. Think of Google. I believe Yahoo is another place. Those are fun places to work at. They go to work, they have arcades in there, they have all kinds of, they serve lunch every day. I'm not saying you guys need to do that, but what are you doing for your employees? Are you doing employee of the month? Are you giving them incentives for, hey, they made the most sales or they brought in clients? Are you incentivizing them? So those are things that you want to think about on how you're treating your employees, so they want to show up every day and work for you. And then what are your corporate crushes? What's your favorite brand and why? What's a brand that other people like but leaves you cold? So again, this is something I just discussed. For me, I think of Google. If I was to run a Fortune 500 company and I had over, 500 employees, what would I want that to look like? My corporate crush would be a Google. I would want to emulate that type of work environment and have employees banging on my door wanting to come work for me. So in your industry, these are things that you can think about as well. Who is the type of business that you have that is close to yours, and how are they doing it? It's okay to look at the other side and say, what are they doing? And then working with professionals. You have CPAs, attorneys, bankers, marketing professionals, IT services, and more can help grow your business to do big things. One thing with entrepreneurs is there's critical team that you need to have. You need a good accountant, which is a CPA, an attorney in case you're reviewing contracts or just to have in case something happens, and a good banker. I don't understand how entrepreneurs can go out there and not build relationships with their business bankers. Those are the critical 3 pieces that you need in running a successful business. And then of course, your marketing professionals and the IT and all of that stuff does help in growing and making your business much bigger. And then connect with influencers. A network of mutual benefit can open a lot of doors for you and others. Now, for us, we connected with a great influencer by working with the city of Glendale because they are doing the work. They are out there, they are giving the information. And for us to be able to work and network with them is a benefit for, I believe, both of us. But in your industry, who can you work with and who can you partner with and help grow? And then certify your business. We have a lot of certifications that you can tap into: minority-owned businesses, women-owned minority businesses, veteran-owned businesses, and so many more. You can tap into networks of opportunity in the corporate supply chain, and it can take years to get to that level, but that's why you start now. So certifying your businesses, getting the certifications to be able to open more doors is something that you guys want to start thinking about as well. And then part 5 is keep pushing. Let's get into that. Now, your business plan. Do you guys have a business plan? Maybe it's time to update your business plan, update your executive summary, reconsider your competitive landscape, describe your legal structure. If you don't have a legal structure for your business, maybe it's time to look into that. If you've been in business for 4 years or 5 years, you guys are pushing and I don't see you stopping. So look at this, reimagine your strategies for marketing and selling to your customers. Next, Sam. And then again, keep pushing. You and your business are worth the investment. Now, I know that was a lot of information, but I hope you guys got something from that. And right now we're going to open it up if you guys have any questions about anything we talked about. Well, Sam, you want to jump? Well, actually here we have one.
We've got some questions, huh? You guys are such a great bunch. You guys must have been amazing in school. Your teachers must have all loved you guys. Questions. You guys are been so amazing. I can't see any questions. Lucy, did you see a question?
So I just see one, it's not so much a question, but Richard, I want to start a one-stop shop for consumers, and you will hire people in each business channel as you have worked in and mastered your career. I love that, Richard. And first off, Richard, thank you for being, so interactive with me through this. But do you have a business right now, Richard? You can just unmute yourself.
Thank you. Actually, right now I'm working for a CDFI.
Oh, okay. And are you
Working
wanting
with
to
their
start
census.
your own in that same field?
Yes, actually I do.
Okay. And you're taking what you've been learning from your job right now to be able to build it into what you're trying to build. Correct? Did we lose you? Well, that's kind of what I got from Richard. He's working as an employee for a CDFI, and he wants to build his own one-stop shop, which kind of is a great example. Some of you may still have full-time jobs, and maybe you say, hey, I can take this business and make it my own or build my own, but it's taking the lessons from what you're learning at these jobs that's going to help you get to the next level when you do it on your own. And he's just said he got disconnected, but thank you for sharing that, Richard. Does anybody else have anything that they want to share or any questions? You can just unmute if you do. And if not, we can keep going. Sam? Thank you, Richard.
Okay, yeah, so we're here. I can kind of see if we have any other questions in the chat or any reaction to our material, but it looks like we're good to go. I'm going to share this last screen and then give you guys some instructions here really quickly. Please let me know if you can see my screen. Ignore ignore my name here on the left. Our presenter today was Lucy. I want to talk to you about this scan really quickly. So the QR code, obviously this is provided for JP Morgan Chase to the community, but we want to continue to grow this. Again, these are my personal thoughts and feelings. I believe that what we're doing, especially in our Coaching for Impact program, can change the way that Americans do business. And we can change the way that our customers, whether they bank with Chase or they bank anywhere else, feel supported. How do we do that? Well, the first part of what we do is feedback. And so one of the things that I would ask for you to do is if you can take our survey by scanning the QR code, you'll be able to select the region, which is Los Angeles, and you'll be able to select today's facilitator, Lucy Cesenia. Please give your feedback to the work that we're doing. It's so important and it's so urgent that we get a chance to customize our material to the needs that you have as business owners. Because we believe that if we put you first, we're always going to come out on top. The second thing that I wanted to speak to you about is our actual program. We're thrilled to be invited here by the City of Glendale. And sometimes you may see a great informational program where you're able to take away a few nuggets, if you will. You'll be able to get those workbooks and be able to do a lot of that on your own. But one of the things that Chase developed was, what if you weren't alone? That's the question we asked. The Coaching for Impact program allows us to follow up with you at no cost to you, of course. It's complimentary. The program's paid for by us. What does that mean and what does it look like? Well, you're allowed to talk about the things that you want to work on for your business. What we found is that it usually comes out in a couple different ways. Perhaps you'd like to work on your operations management. Perhaps you'd like to focus in on business development. How do I get more customers? How can I attract them? Perhaps you are looking around to build a team of trusted advisors. One of the things that Lucy was talking about today. Or perhaps you just really want to understand your cash flow, whether you bank with us or anyone else. Have you ever made really great sales, but then you figure, where's all the money going? These are some of the things that we talk about. We create the space one-on-one for you to discuss what is going on with you as a business owner and how we can help you succeed. Typically, we've been very successful in helping our business owners, and you have access to us for about 2 to 3 months. And then in the 4th month, we tend to graduate you out the program. But that's not the end. Whether you bank with us or you don't, we're happy to help. And you're part of our, what we affectionately call it an alumni network. And what do we do with that? Well, we consider to find ways to provide your resources. You can always give us a call or email to update us on how things are going and to see if there are any changes in the market that we can help you respond to. It's provided completely towards you, the business owner, because we want to lean in and we want to show the community how much we care and hopefully drive that impact that we're looking to, especially in the Glendale area. That's it for our presentation today. I'm going to stop sharing. Lucy, did you have any other concluding thoughts on that? I think we had something come up in the chat here.
Yes, Clara would like to get her business certified, which we can share the information, contact information. But I,
Amazing.
again, wanted to thank everybody for their time. Again, I know that Sam put the QR code up. If you can please put that up again, Sam, because I would really love the feedback on how we can make this better or if it was helpful for you. And then again, for anybody that has a business that is, you know, running a business and just kind of feels like there's some areas that they may need assistance with or coaching in, we are here, and Chase is offering a program that is no cost to you. And coming from being an entrepreneur myself, I know sometimes how hard it is to just be in your head as a sole owner. And sometimes it's good just to bounce some ideas off or talk about, what am I doing? Am I in the right direction? So again, thank you to the City of Glendale. Thank you to every single one of you that made it out and spent your last hour with us. I appreciate you. And hopefully we get to see you guys again. Thank you.